Hello class, welcome back to your online class. So we were discussing chapter 6, economic importance of bacteria. So we have discussed the useful role of bacteria in three sectors, that is medicine, industry and agriculture. That's one of the important topic in this particular chapter. Okay, now today we will be discussing the harmful role of bacteria in our everyday life. Okay, now when we say the harmful role of bacteria, the major role that bacteria plays is in spoilage of food items. Okay, especially during a summer time, if you cook your meal in a morning, it will be unfit for you to consume that meal at night, because of the work of a bacteria or by spoilage has already been taken, emitting certain smell. So emission of certain smell makes you aware that that particular food is unfit for you to consume. Okay, so not just meal, even if you don't have a refrigerator at home, and if you bring fruits, after 2 or 3 days your fruits will also be decayed, right? It will not be fit for you to consume that particular fruit, because this bacteria are very much viable in a room temperature. It's very much favorable for them to grow at the room temperature. That's why they will be generally growing on those food items, leading to the spoilage. So consumption of those food items may even lead to food poisoning. One of the bacteria which causes food poisoning is your Clostridium botulinum. Okay, it causes one of the most common food poisoning called botulinism. Okay, so how do we preserve the food from spoilage by the bacteria? So we will be discussing about those things. So first one is and the most common one is boiling or heating at a high temperature. It is also referred to as sterilization. Okay, so we know that bacteria, most of the bacteria, they cannot survive at a higher temperature. Okay, higher than the room temperature, it's not favorable for them. So but some of the spore form of a bacteria, they can survive. Their spores are generally heat resistant, so they can survive even at a high temperature. So in order to kill the spores, you have to supply the heat above 110 degrees Celsius under a high pressure in an autoclave or in a pressure cooker. You have to make that particular environment where the temperature of that particular temperature you are boiling is at above 110 degrees Celsius, and it is under a high pressure. They generally in industries like where they make sealed food items, okay, they generally use autoclave. Okay, autoclave, it's like a instrument where this high pressure is maintained along with the higher temperature, just like your pressure cooker. Okay, it looks similar to, the model is similar to that of a pressure cooker. So they utilize this autoclave in order to carry out the sterilization process, so that the further growth of bacteria in that particular food items after being sealed doesn't take place, and that will reduce the growth of a bacteria, thus increasing the longevity of a food item. So supplying boiling at a high temperature, okay, or at a high pressure will lead to complete killing of bacteria along with its spores also. Okay, so the next one is your next preservation method is salting. Salting means adding more amount of salt. So your mom, if prepares pickles at home, you might have seen her adding more amount of salt to those pickles. Now why? Because pickles you consume it for a long period of time, so in order to make it fit so that bacteria do not grow or other microorganisms like fungus do not grow, in order to make sure that she adds more salt to it. Now why does she add more salt to it? That's because so the plasmolysis of, even if there is a bacteria or any kind of fungus, the plasmolysis of that bacteria or a fungus can take place. Now what is plasmolysis? Now if you add a more salt to that particular food items, that means what will happen? The amount of water in outside environment to that of a bacteria will be less because there is more salt. So what will happen? The water from inside the bacteria will move out, leading to the shrinkage of the cell and eventually the death of a cell. That's why your mom or grandmom at home, while making pickles, she adds more amount of salt to it. So salting is one of the food preservation technique. Okay. Number 3 is your dehydration or drying. Dehydration or drying. It's also one of the technique of food preservation. You might have taken dried fish, and even if you get that dried fish from a market, and if you can preserve it for about a month, even after about a month it's fit for growth, fit for you to consume, right? So dehydration is also one of the important food preservation technique, because dehydration means absence of water, and bacteria in absence of water they do not grow. Okay, most of the bacteria, they find it unfit for them to grow. Okay, only in the presence of water they are able to grow and survive. So dehydration is also one of the food preservation technique. Now another one is your irradiation. Irradiation means you are using radioactive radiation . So next one is your irradiation. Here you are using radioactive radiation in order to sterilize certain food items. But since radioactive radiation, the food which has been sterilized by radioactive radiation, the consumption of those food items might even lead to cancer. So nowadays the radioactive radiation is not that it's not allowed. Okay, or you can sometimes with the help of ultraviolet rays, you know that ultraviolet rays are very harmful, so obviously it will be able to kill the bacteria. Rooms are sterilized with the help, hospitals are sterilized with the help of ultraviolet radiation. Okay, but exposure of this radiation to us can have a lethal effect on us also. Okay, so most of the time it's advised not to consume food. It's generally they don't carry out all this kind of radiation, because this will have a lethal effect on the human body also. Okay, consumption of all these items which has been radiated with the help of radioactive radiation or ultraviolet radiation will have a harmful effect. So they have to follow proper guidelines before conducting out this kind of irradiation. Okay, now next one which you all know is pasteurization. You all are very much familiar with this technique of food preservation. Okay, you all have seen packet milk, okay, packet juices which you bring to your home and then consume it even after a day or 3 or 4 or a week. Even then the spoilage of that particular packet milk does not take place, but once you open it, then the spoilage will take place. Okay, because once you open it, you are making it because bacteria, they are present everywhere, right, even in the air, so they will enter that particular food item and then will lead to spoilage. But if you do not open that particular packet, then that particular packet of milk will be fit for you to drink even after 1 week. Spoilage will not be taking place. So what is pasteurization? Now in pasteurization, what happens is boiling of a liquid takes place at a temperature of 60 degrees Celsius for about 30 minutes. Okay, for about 30 minutes at 60 degrees Celsius, the boiling of that particular liquid takes place and immediately cooling of that item takes place, and then it is sealed. Okay, so this process the immediate heating and cooling makes sure that the whatever the viable microorganism, like here we are discussing about bacteria, if it is present, it is killed. Okay, so pasteurization this kind of process is carried out while in a liquid items, like we have seen of milk packets or juice packets, or even in a brewing industry. Okay, they use this particular method in order to increase the longevity of a particular food item. Okay, now next is your refrigeration or freezing. Okay, you all have refrigerator at home, right? So refrigerator, the temperature inside is generally below 6 degrees Celsius. So at this lower temperature, bacteria generally they do not grow. The best temperature for bacteria to grow is generally this room temperature or within 25 degrees Celsius. It's the best environment for them to grow. But at lower temperature or a very high temperature, bacteria, if they find it unable to grow. So if you refrigerate a food item, if you keep the food items in a refrigerator or a freezer, you can consume that food item for a longer period of time, because the action of a bacteria or the growth of a bacteria doesn't take place at much lower temperature. Okay, now next we all like taking jams with the bread, right? So your jam, it consists of higher concentration of sugar along with the salt, like I told you while discussing about the salting process, right? Higher concentration of sugar or salt in a solution will lead to plasmolysis of a particular microorganism. So plasmolysis further leading to the killing of that particular bacteria. Okay, that's why in your jams or in your pickles, okay, they generally use higher concentration of sugar or salt, okay, in order to make the environment which is unfit for bacteria to grow. So here we have discussed about the harmful, or we have discussed how we can prevent the food from the spoilage by the bacteria. How can we increase the longevity of food items that we are consuming, the different techniques, okay, different process or methods. So you just go through all of this. Now next we will be discussing about the bacterial disease in plants and animals. We will be discussing about certain common bacterial disease both in plants and animals. You just have to know the name of those bacterial disease. First, let us discuss about the bacterial disease in plant. So what is the common bacterial disease? Blight of beans. It is caused by a bacteria known as Xanthomonas campestris. You just don't have to know the causative agents, just know the name of some of the bacterial disease. Okay, blight of a beans means blight is like a black spot occurring, okay, some darkening occurring over a beans. That's referred to as a blight of a beans. Or black rot of mustard and cauliflower, blight of a cowpea. These are the general common bacterial disease found in a plants. Okay. Now coming to the humans, we are all aware of a disease called tuberculosis, which affects the lungs, right? So tuberculosis is caused by a bacteria known as Mycobacterium tuberculosis. So another one is your typhoid by a Salmonella typhus. Similarly, other diseases like pneumonia, tetanus and cholera are also the bacterial disease. Okay. Now coming to animals. Disease such as anthrax. In case of anthrax, the swelling of the whole body of an animal takes place, and even in case of ruminating or animals, it might even lead to decrease in the yield of a milk. Okay, and even tuberculosis in animals, that means affecting the lungs of an animal. So these are the common diseases. You just have to know the name of the disease in plants, animals and humans. Okay. Now another one is your bioweapons. It is said that if there happen to be any war further, it's not going to be carried out with a heavy ammunitions, okay, or weapons. Countries are secretly or generally developing a bioweapons. Bioweapons are like they are using the biological entities like this microorganisms, right, like bacteria, certain harmful bacteria and they will be introducing those bacteria in water or in air, and that will lead to disease in a widespread disease. Now that we are going through the pandemic time, that's because of one virus, right, from a coronavirus family, but you can see the whole world is shut down. So you see how harmful certain microorganisms are, right? So this virus, what does it do? It affects your respiratory tract, enabling making it difficult for you to breathe. So one virus, the one which we cannot even see with our naked eyes, has kept whole world shut. So you see how harmful one particular microorganism is. It is supposed to be have developed in China, but you see China and India, they are so far off, and whole world, not just India, whole world is affected by this particular virus. So you see how harmful can a microorganism are. So in future, if there are going to be any commotion, it will be because of they will be fighting with the help of the bioweapons. They are using certain microorganisms which are very much harmful in order as a weapons, in order to destroy that particular country. Okay, so I hope that doesn't happen, because we can see that even without seeing the effect of harmful microorganism, we have lived with it and we are still living with it, and I don't know when are we going to overcome that particular scenario, when we will be. It is said that we have to learn to live with coronavirus now, because just like any other microorganisms that we are trying to live with. Okay, so that's all about this topic, bacteria. Okay, next day we will be discussing the economic importance of fungi in detail.